the reality is this: if I was actually targeting children, I'd be broke because they don't have any money. They get sick all the time. They don't have Amazon Prime. They don't have credit cards. They're useless to me. They have no value to me whatsoever, the children.
They're not buying these books.
I don't want your children. I want you.
Yes. What's your dumb ass to buy the book? Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the program, Mr. Brad Gosse, everybody. Brad Gosse.
What's up, Barry?
Brad, am I saying that right? Because I don't know, with the silent E in there, that's very Canadian.
You nailed it. Most people call me Goose. So, well, congratulations.
Not fucking around, dude. I don't know. The E, I'm very terrible with pronunciation. So I was like, oh shit, is this E? It's gonna throw me off.
No, you nailed it. You're good.
Perfect. By the way, loving the mic and the whole setup. Did I say, by the way, it's Omegle, right? That's what you do a lot of the videos on when you do the chat stuff. Is it Omegle?
It used to be Omegle, but they shut down.
Oh,
because they got too many lawsuits for matching people with predators.
Oh, no shit.
Which, I guess if that were the case, they should probably shut down Central Park, but whatever.
Is that the truth?
So there's some new websites that I use that are similar to Omegle that allow me to have like a Zoom call with strangers. And so it's, there's still places. There's still dark places on the internet, thankfully.
So what is it now if it's not Omegle?
There's a website called OME TV. Okay. And there's another one called Monkey App. I apologize. I'm kind of losing my voice. I'm getting over bronchitis, but I took all the drugs. So
nice. Are you standing up too, by the way?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a professional.
Fuck. Yeah. All right. Well, fuck you too, Brad. Yep. I can do this shit. I'm not.
Go for it.
Yeah, you're not gonna intimidate me on my show.
Sitting is the new smoking, Barry. Sitting is the new smoking.
Is it? Okay, well I'll tell you what. I'll be damned. We'll do this too. It looks like I have two belly buttons right now, though. That's kind of weird. All right. Well, how long ago did that start? The Omegle thing and the chat.
I did it in 2020, in the middle of the pandemic when everybody's kind of locked down. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is a great way to film reactions to my content and, get people surprised, at what I do. And it just turned out to be that, like, I just tested it one night and it was like the most amazing thing. I was like, I can't believe how well this went. And then it just became a bi-weekly or regular weekly thing that I just did. And I'd stay up for 4 hours at, 2:00 in the morning and just record interactions with, everything from drunks in Australia to, kids that probably shouldn't be in these places and everywhere in between. That's great, dude. And you've been doing it 4 years now, huh? Yep. It just seems like it's just a wealth of content. Like and it's something new every time. So that's got to be even better. Oh yeah, that's what I love about it. It's always, I get bullied by teenage girls a lot, which is kind of fun. There's nowhere left for them to bully except these dark places, so they come on and they're like, oh, look, let's give it to this guy. And that works for me. I take it. That's great, dude. Now, a lot of it is you reading the children's books. Tell me about the children's books. You have over 150 now, right? That's right. Yeah, I have 152 children's books. Okay. Now, we have somebody in the chat that said their daughter loves your children's books. Amazing. Where did that go? Yes, right. How old is the daughter? That's my question. SB, he's from Italy, and he said, my daughter loves these books. It's right there. I just put it on the screen. I love that for your daughter. He's new to the show. And he was like, oh, I'm sticking around for Brad because my daughter loves his books. Where did the idea come from for the books? Barry, I have a lot of voices in my head. And so I've learned to channel them into profit. And man. So, it just kind of, it was born out of, a fever dream. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to throw this at the wall because, I just don't really, I don't have anything else to do. I don't have any skills.
I'm a high school dropout. You know, this is all I got. This is what I know how to do. I know how to upset and entertain at the same time.
It's really genius though, dude, because it's one of those things where, you know, as comics, we, you know, you have those kind of, because a lot of it is kind of tongue in cheek, play on words. You know, I mean, I read a couple before I went to break just to kind of let the chat and the audience know what the kind of the books are. One of them that I read was Mike Hunt. What was it? I've already.
I love when people have to enunciate the words properly. Mike Hunt. Yes. You got to say it out. Yes, you got to spell Mike it out.
Hunt.
Dash. Underscore.
Mike. Pause. Hunt. Yeah. Was it smells like fish because he's a fisherman. But yeah, like it's really a, did you think, I mean, well, first of all, I got to know, do they sell? Because that's the obvious question. Are you really selling any of these? I love the idea of it, and I know as merch at a show, these things are going like hotcakes. It's a genius idea. You don't sell these at shows?
I don't sell them at shows. No.
What the fuck? Why are you not? You don't. That's the first thing I thought of. Was like, yo, this dude's a genius because this shit as merch for a comic is just. Mwah.
I toss them out into the audience. I give them away at shows.
What?
And and I just say they're on Amazon for two reasons. One is I don't want to sit at the merch table, and I don't want to drag somebody with me to every show and have them sit at the merch table. And the last thing I want to see is, last thing I want anybody to see is me sitting at the merch table, giving you that sad eye, you know, like, you going to buy a book or what? You know, I don't want to be that guy. So I feel like, you know, you can get it on Amazon. But to answer your question, yeah, they sell. I mean, I wouldn't do 150 of them if they didn't sell.
Okay.
You know, Mike Hunt, you know, is I mean, my best seller.
Is it?
But by far, you know, to the tune of, you know, 6-figure copies, like, you know, just unbelievable numbers. Just
are you shitting me? Are you messing
just out of the gate? Now? I'm not messing with you. I mean, they have ISBNs. You can look them up on Bookscan. Like, they sell.
That is insane. There's no way, Brad, that I would have ever guessed that you'd be selling 6-figure books. Yeah, at $12 a pop.
Yep.
Bro, that's crazy. First of all, I just want to go back for a second. As a comic, how long have you been doing comedy, Brad?
5 years.
5 years. Okay.
Yep.
First of all, congratulations. You've lapped me. I've been doing this shit 11 years. And you obviously are making way more money than me because I have to sit my sad ass at the merch table and give them the sad look because daddy's got to get gas money and, you know, pay bills. So yes, I'm definitely giving them the sad face. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where two people are at in their careers. This is two different spaces. One is going to be filming a Netflix special. And
I'm not doing a Netflix special.
I thought you said you were
I'm going to Netflix as a joke, as an attendee. But I'm not doing a special.
When you said you were doing Netflix as a joke, I was like, oh, he's recording. Oh, that's my bad.
Yeah, that's okay. That's by design. It's all about appearances. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Tinder profile. You just gotta gloss over the high level. You know what I mean? and let them fill in the blanks. You know what I'm saying?
That's super smart. Yeah. I'll be a
let the bitches fill in the blanks.
What? Yeah. As an attendee in the crowd.
Hold on. Yeah.
Hey, I ain't even mad at you. That
mission
worked.
Accomplished, Barry. Mission accomplished.
You're here now. Damn it. Well, not for long. That was Brad Gosse, everybody. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I was fucking with you.
I get canceled every day, my friend. Every day.
That's nothing new. Dude, some of the videos are hilarious because I just watched the one where you were with the black dude and it was like he's telling you can't say gay. You're like, what are you talking about? That's the G in LGBTQ. He was like, no, that means good people. And you were like, well,
no, yeah.
That video was hilarious. I have to go. What is your YouTube? What is your YouTube channel?
It's Brad Gosse on all the things.
All the things. All right, so y'all go check out
Instagram, TikTok,
all of his socials. It's right there on the screen. I spelled it right too, the E at the end. But yeah, some of the videos, dude, just fantastic.
Thank you.
That one I really enjoyed. That one was super funny. But these books, all right. So I know you have a shitload of them, but do you have a personal favorite that you've done that you're like, I feel like as comics, like I know for me, my favorite joke rarely works. You know what I mean? Like, but my favorite joke never gets the response that I think it deserves or that I would want it to because I love it so much, but I love it so much I'm going to keep doing it. Do you have a book that you love that maybe doesn't sell a lot or maybe you love it?
Yeah.
And it
sometimes you birth a genius baby and you think it's going to be the thing. And, Mike Hunt being my best-selling book, that was a throwaway. I didn't think that was going to be anything. And it's buying me a house. So, you know what I mean? It's like you never know what it's going to be. But I think my favorite one is I have a couple favorite ones, like Becky the Throat Goat is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Because I love birthing cartoon characters into the world and like creating a life out of something. So that's one of my favorites. And another one is called Race Wars, and it's about different colored cars. Dude, so those are my two favorites.
That is so funny. That's pretty funny because I actually wrote a sketch called Race Wars. I shot it. I got too lazy and never edited it, but it was in the same vein as oh God, what's that nerdy game? I don't know. It's like a card game. What's that? I don't know what that game is.
Magic the Gathering, you're thinking?
Yeah, but it was like with races instead of whatever. So like you could.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have a card game called Identity War that is basically that.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I wrote a whole sketch. It was like, you won't get a job. And it was like, shut up.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got like a black comic friend of mine and a white comic. That's hilarious. All right, now I think if I did this right, I could get us both on the screen. Here we go. I want to make sure your mic is still working. Yes, it is. So these are some of the books you have. You have 152 now. Now you're about to drop a new one as well, right?
Yeah, I'm doing a Kickstarter. It'll probably be out next week, which is 101 of my best-selling books in a 300-page hardcover compendium. It's called Brad Gosse Bukkake.
Okay, well, first of all, what is a compendium? Don't be coming on here and using big words, Brad. All right, I don't.
That's three syllables.
This is not a goddamn thesaurus show. Okay.
Okay. A compendium is a compilation book. It's
okay.
Okay. Well, I'm a high school dropout, so
I mean, yeah, but you're also an author. So
come at me, bro.
You've also written books. I barely read. Okay.
Let's not call what I do writing. Okay, that's a stretch, Barry.
Well, they're what, 6 pages, 8 pages long?
Most of them are 20 to 30 pages.
Oh, and then look at me underestimating.
But it's mostly pictures. You know what I'm saying? Mostly pictures. So some of them are coloring books. But yeah, it's a compilation book. So it's basically you take all the top 101 books and you sort of put them into like a comic panel style. So now it's maybe one book spans 2 to 3 pages. And so you get, 300-page book where the books are sort of condensed for you into smaller comic panels so that you can get it all in one book that's, that doesn't, break your toes if you drop it.
So you don't have to buy 150 of them. You can buy one and get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many you're going to put in there? Did you say
101?
Oh, you're 101. Okay. That's dude. That's
top
really
sellers.
Cool. Yeah. And I'm guessing this is done in order of popularity. So this is the sort order. So my clit shouldn't be hard to find. Oh, there's Becky the Throat Goat. This was your favorite.
Good old Becky. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's 4th. There you go. My racist dog only trusts whites. That one's pretty on the nose. There's no guessing on that one. But I like.
Well, there's a twist at the end. There's a twist at the end.
Yes, I saw you reading that one on one of the chats, and I gotta say the twist is really good. Because I saw when you were reading it. I don't remember the race of the guys you were reading to, but they were like, "This is not okay, bro. This is not okay." And at the end, they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah,
okay."
Has there ever been anybody that's like freaked out on you when you were doing these chats and reading these books where they just lost their
Yeah. I get death threats. I get, I had a guy threaten to swat me, which for anybody who doesn't know what swatting is, it's when they call the police and pretend to be you. And they say, I'm in my house and I got a gun to my family, and the SWAT team comes, busting your door down. And I get probably, I would say average, I get a few death threats a day, but they come in waves. So one of my books in particular gets more death threats than all the others combined.
Okay.
So yeah, it's called Mom and Dad's Swinger Party.
Oh,
and if you there it is. And if you see the reviews, if you go to the reviews on that book, the reviews are poor because most of the reviews are from people who haven't actually read the book. But if you look at the outrage. Just look at the outrage.
Intended for adults. Odd choice of humor. Disgusting child grooming.
So these people, right? These are the special people who actually think that I target the children.
Disgusting. Oh, yeah. This is great. Absolutely horrible. Not for kids. Whomever. Oh, I like that they dropped a whomever. That's pretty great. Whomever buys this book for children or think this is something children should read, see, know is absolutely despicable. That's hilarious, Brad. I feel like you take a lot of pride, like, in the death threats and these kinds of reviews. It's almost like, yeah, you guys are so stupid.
Yeah.
It's not the pride in it's not like, it's like some comics take pride in edgy humor and getting a groan and not a laugh. And I don't think that's this. I think you take pride almost in outsmarting those people. Like, I know you like getting the laugh, but it's almost like you also like people like that just don't get it.
I love to poke the bear. It's so fun. And because the outrage is so phony and it's so like, and as a comic, sometimes the best thing to do is commit to the bit. So when they come into the comment section and they're like, how dare you? Why would you target children with this filth? And I always respond with things like, but children are the future. And, I lean into the hate as much as possible. Great. It's like, the reality is this: if I was actually targeting children, I'd be broke because they don't have any money. They get sick all the time. They don't have Amazon Prime. They don't have credit cards. They're useless to me. They have no value to me whatsoever, the children.
They're not buying these books.
I don't want your children. I want you.
Yes. What's your dumbass to buy the book?
Yeah. So,
that's funny.
And this is another one of these things, right? You never know when this is going to happen. But what ended up happening was some people reshared me reading the book, and they also reshared, there's a woman on TikTok that read the book, and they put a caption over the top and it said, this book is already in every school library in America. And so the outrage this was on Twitter, of course, where people get freaked out about, the boogeyman all the time. Yeah. The number of people who lost their minds over this book thinking it's actually in the library already is just phenomenal. And what they don't realize is the 1-star reviews actually help sell the books.
Oh, that's the best.
Like, I have the best, the worst kind of 1-star review is one that says verified purchase, and someone's like, this book is too short, or it's not funny. The best ones are the outrage ones.
Oh, that's so, because none of them are verified.
Right. Yeah, well, there might be the odd one, but some people do buy these books by mistake, thinking they're children's books.
Yeah.
But that's also funny too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah. I would imagine like somebody buys it not getting it. Maybe they didn't read it fast enough or just don't get it at all. But yeah, that's hilarious. So there's definitely, I don't see any verified purchases on here. They're just a bunch of angry people. Yeah. What's the point? This is sick, bro. This is fantastic.
It's a masterclass in marketing.
Trolling.
You know what I mean?
This is a masterclass in trolling is what this is.
It is trolling.
I mean, you're literally trolling people with books and really the title of the book. But it's genius because, I mean, you're selling these books and, you know, it's like people said they're buying them and they're reading them and they're having fun with it. And that's the great thing about it is the people that get it and they enjoy it and have fun with it. And the people that don't, everyone that does get it is enjoying the people that don't get it as well as enjoying the book. It's like a win.
Exactly.
It's so smart, dude. Total Dallas in the chat said, I'm for sure getting one for the grandkid. There you go.
Amazing.
Yeah. Chris from Sam Houston in the chat said, I was actually going to buy it for the neighbor kid. There you go. Now you get it. Oh, Total Dallas wants to know, is there a scratch and sniff page in the Mike Hunt book?
That would be amazing. I think we need to do a Mike Hunt candle.
There. Oh, now see, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
I would buy these books as a baby shower gift.
That actually, I have a whole series called Dead Babies, a series of short life stories that people buy as baby shower gifts, and they come as coloring books as well. So that's an option if you have a baby shower coming up.
What is there one that you've written where you're just like, I shouldn't do this, but like you said, I've got to commit to the bit. So what the hell just happened there? Hold on. So I'm gonna do it regardless, but I probably shouldn't publish this one. But I'm doing it.
Yeah, there's
like,
a couple
is there
of those.
A line for you? Because I feel like some of these are like shit, but I don't feel like you have a line.
I don't have a line.
Yeah.
I don't have a line unless it's filled with cocaine. I have a couple that I probably, I probably maybe should have, had a bit of a filter or maybe run it by a couple people, but then, like don't bathe with Uncle Joe, setting boundaries with adults, or my newest book.
The best one. Like that, yeah. What's wrong with that? That's the best lesson these kids could learn.
Well, that's what I thought was funny is TikTok banned the book, and then I made another video and I said, "Dear TikTok, do you really think you should bathe with Uncle Joe? Is that why you banned the book? Like, I mean, are you telling me that I should write a book called Do Bathe with Uncle Joe?"
Uncle Joe? That's like the best lesson. That's fucking hilarious, dude.
So, I mean,
oh my God.
Even my newest book is pretty bad.
What do I want to know what it is?
Do you want to read it or should I?
I know. Just no, please.
Okay, we're gonna draw the line here. We found the line, Barry.
Please, for the love of God.
We found the line.
Yes. Oh, my line was a long time ago, Brad. My line personally was a long time ago.
Okay, we already found your line. We haven't found mine yet.
Dude, some of these, your line is way, dude, some of these Uncle Jeff's Island, Mom and Dad's Swinger Party, these are Clip Clop, the racist horse cop. I mean, dude, these are fantastic. How do you, 150, that's a lot of work. And that doesn't, I can't imagine what the list of the ones where you're like, nah, nope. I'll move this to the bottom, maybe later.
I don't have a no list.
Oh, you don't have a no list?
I don't have a list of no.
You're just
everything gets done. Every idea gets cooked up and produced. That's how I roll.
Now, do you do all the illustrations or do you have somebody else do that?
I have a couple of sweatshop kids that do the illustrations for me.
Nice.
They work for Nike part-time and then they draw for me part-time, you know?
Jesus Christ. That's good. They're just making shoes and children's books.
That's right. Making shoes and making dreams.
That's it. We're not camping. Mom and Dad lied. We're homeless. That is a book.
Yep. Never been more relevant than right now, that book. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of foreclosures where I live in Toronto.
Oh, is that where you're at, Toronto? I knew you were in Canada. Toronto, huh?
Yep.
And born and raised?
Yeah. I lived in this area for my whole life.
Okay.
It's really sad.
It's really sad?
Yeah.
No, man.
It's a sad place.
Toronto's a melting pot. What's the comedy scene like?
Comedy scene is it's all over the place. It's getting better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shows that happen. I've been headlining a lot of clubs here lately, and so I like Toronto for comedy. But it's you don't really like. It's not a launching pad for anything. There's nobody's going to discover you here. You're just going to grind it out. I've met a lot of comics who've been doing it for 20 years that still work at the bank.
Oh, wow.
So that are really funny people. They just, they're just grinding it out.
Yeah. I only know 2 comics. Well, I don't even know if one of them is from Toronto. I guess I'm just lumping him in to Toronto because he's from Canada. But I do know Trix is from Toronto. Do you know Trix?
No.
Okay. I guess I think he's from Toronto. Yeah. Trix is from Toronto. He's in Vegas now. And then Greg Morton. But I don't know. He mainly works in the US now, but he's not, I guess he doesn't do much up there. He's been around for forever, 20, 25 years or something like that. Total Dallas had a question for you in the chat. Any invites to read at libraries? I'm guessing that's not a...
I do dress in drag once in a while, so why not?
I don't think that's what...
Oh, drag queen story time? You guys don't have that in America?
No, that's not. Oh. No, just like do you do book signings?
I do book signings, yeah.
Do you really? Do people show up?
No, it's just me and the table.
Just you. It's like, yeah. Did you open the doors? Did you unlock
anybody?
The doors?
Anybody? I'm still here.
Are we open? Did you guys open the doors yet? Oh, that's hilarious. That's fantastic though, dude. So you have, is there a point where you're not going to write any more books? Or you're like, all right, when I hit 200 it feels pretty lucrative. Like you're like, yeah, I'm just going to keep growing until the money stops.
I'm on the gravy train, my man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to keep drinking the gravy.
Is there thoughts of, one of these could be a series, or like, is there the thoughts of turning this into some kind of like, I guess I don't know I don't know how I'm trying to ask this, but is there a next level to this other than just writing children's books? Is there taking one of them or all of them or the concept of this and turning it into something else?
Yeah,
on TV
absolutely.
Or web TV or something like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would love to do an animated series. I would love to do, a Netflix show, Netflix special, as we discussed earlier. It's a question of, we live in a weird climate. And so like every publicist that I've offered to throw money at has said no. Oh, really? Sorry, we work with children's charities, or we work with this group or that group that's going to, fire us if we work with you. I have had multiple conversations with publishing companies where they're like, we can't believe the numbers you're doing. How can we be in the Brad Gosse business? And then at the end of the conversation, they're like, we don't think it's a good fit for us to be in the Brad Gosse business. I can't get a literary agent to respond to my query. I can't. And it's funny. So I just keep self-publishing because I'm killing it and I get more profit that way. And you know, but well, that's the thing, right? So I mean, I hope one day that an animated, you know, series comes along that some TV producer has the, you know, the balls to work with me. But if not, I just keep chugging along. I mean, I got a successful YouTube channel, successful TikTok, Instagram. You know, I'm on all the things. The books are selling. Everything's going in the right direction, and I would love to leverage up to something bigger. And I'm, you know, I mean, I'm a professional. I show up early. I showed up here early. I didn't even know I was hijacking your show when I showed up early.
No, it was great.
You know?
I should have told you, and that's so I just started doing guests again. And when I first started, so I was in radio for a while, and I had a co-host, and then when I got laid off, I started doing the show, and I always had guests on, but I never had like multiple guests on. It was always I had a guest from 4 to 5, or actually 3 to 4. And then, so like, this is the first time where I'd have multiple guests on. So I really need to start warning people, hey, I'll have a guest on at 3:15. If you show up early, you might kick them off. So that's on me. That's not on you. That's,
but like that, but that's, you know what I mean? Like that's me as a, you know, someone who works with people. I'm a pro. I show up early to every show. A lot of comics are late to their shows. I've gotten headliner gigs. Like I was an opener for a long time, and recently started headlining and selling out shows. But that all came from, you know, I was doing a show in Toronto not long ago, and I was supposed to go right before the headliner, and the producer came up to me and he was like, hey, the headliner's not here yet. Can you do more than 10 minutes? And I was like, I could do an hour, bro. Like I got all kinds of material here. And they, you know, a lot of comics, when you ask them if they can do more minutes than they're allocated, they're like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah. Or they'll lie and say yes and not be able to.
Yeah, and bomb hard.
Yes.
And so I went out and I did, you know, 45 minutes, and then the headliner showed up, and they're like, okay, we'll give the headliner another 15. And then, you know, I did so well that, you know, I started headlining right after that. It was just like, okay, can you headline next week? Can you headline here? And now it's all headliner gigs, and I'm selling out those events and those shows. But I'm a professional. I show up early. You ask me to do your show, I'm going to be there before it starts. You know, that's how I roll. And so if anybody does want to work with me in that capacity, I will show up. I'll do the work. You'll get more than you expect out of me, because I am committed to my own success. Yeah. So, you know, I do believe that eventually, you know, that will turn into a bigger thing, whatever that looks like, and I'm open to it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because it's working. And if they don't notice me, that's cool too. Like I'm doing okay. So I would love to have something bigger. I would love to have a Netflix special. I'd love to have an animated series, you know, Adult Swim, call your boy. Like, come on. You know, there's definitely room for a Becky the Throat Goat series, a Clip Clop the Racist Horse Cop series, a Buster the Perverted Ghost, a Cinnamon the Horse Forced into the Sex Trade. All of these, you know, characters have a life, and could be a thing.
What if it, I mean, and I'm sure you've thought of this because these are all your babies, right? I mean, I'm not bringing anything new to the party here. We're just hanging out. We just became best friends, 2 weeks ago? I don't even know. You just started following me. I don't even know how you found me, but you followed me and I was like, oh, fellow comic. I followed you back. And then I just happened to see your post one day where you're like, I want to go on people's shows or podcasts. I was like, well, come on. And that's how this happened. Which, by the way, if you're watching this and you happen to be a comic or whatever, this is why you follow other comics. Yeah. And network. That's what this is literally all about. And don't be afraid to follow a fellow comic and follow them back and chop it up, because you end up on somebody's show and you never know what happens.
Exactly.
But bro, there's gotta be, and I'm trying to think of the, what was it like? I remember as a kid, you would sit down to watch cartoons and they would have like different superheroes all in one, like 30
Super
minutes.
Friends.
Yes. So instead of having to try to have like Clip Clop the Racist Horse Cop as a whole 30-minute show, bro, you got 150 different characters. Well, I know like you did Mike Hunt like But that sounded super creepy. You did my cunt like 3 times.
Yeah.
but like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could have literally one show would be like, oh, it's a 10 minutes of clip clop, and then there's Becky.
Or they all interact together. You know, they're all in the same sort of.
But there's the characters, and then they have different storylines, and you've got the characters that I don't see why.
Bro, I even have I've had custom puppets made for the characters, you know, and with another comic from Toronto, Jay Rainville, he and I put together we did two episodes on YouTube, but it just didn't really hit. It was called Brad's Apartment, and it was like
the puppets.
So I have a Becky the Throat Goat puppet. I have a Clip Clop the Racist Horse puppet. I have a Cucumber Curtis puppet. You know, most of my characters are puppets as well. And I just don't think that was the right venue, but I feel like a cartoon could be the thing where you put them all together because they worked well together, right? Like, you know, Curtis is anxious because he doesn't want to go to the dark place inside your mom. He's a cucumber. And, you know, Becky the Throat Goat, and like they all kind of work well together. And you know, Clip Clop has been fired from the police force. So he's this like disgraced, you know, former cop. And, you know, they all kind of have they all work well together. So it's kind of like a South Park of animals.
Yes.
And I think there's something there too.
I'm surprised you haven't just done this on your own with animators. Like, have you not tried, or is it just too expensive?
Animation is costly and time consuming I'm a one-man show. Like, you know, I'm a stay-at-home comedian. I'm in my basement. You know what I mean? I do this here at my desk. So to bring in an animation company, you're talking like 10 grand a minute to put anything reasonable out. Even with AI, it's really hard to pull off well. And I don't have the ability to do that myself.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to invest that amount of cash to do it myself. If I was going to do something like that, I'd rather work with a studio where there's some backing, there's some distribution, there's something that they bring to the table,
right,
to make that happen. But I feel like if I do it, like I can do a book a week. I can crank out a new book every week or every 2 weeks. I can crank out, 50 YouTube videos a month or 100 YouTube videos a month. I can make a lot of content or me reading books of my own, or me doing, sometimes I do news commentary, or I'll do, some kind of satire or whatever that might be. I even do food reviews, like oddball food reviews, like where it's just like so inappropriate, but it's funny. And so I do a lot of different things, and to sort of stop that train to work on a really slow burn project doesn't make sense as a one-man show.
Right. Yeah, I do. Your numbers are crazy good. Like, and I 380K on YouTube. That's insane, Brad. That's insane. What point did it, I mean, it had to have been, and I wouldn't know, but it had to have been, was it like a slow and then all of a sudden, or was it just a steady climb, steady march to 380? Was there one particular video? Was there one moment?
I blew up on TikTok first. So I had 1 million followers on TikTok before I reached 100K on YouTube. I had 1.5 million on TikTok, and I think when I got to 100K on YouTube, I got to 200K really fast. I got to 300K really fast. And then getting from 300 to 500 or 1 million has been a bit of a slow burn. But I find it happens in bursts. It's just like you get a couple videos that go viral and boom, your subscriber count goes through the roof. And then you might even have a couple months where your subscriber count drops. You put out some videos and people are like, this dude fell off, you know what I mean? And you're like, okay, bye. And then, and then you get another burst and you get more. So, YouTube is probably the least linear. I would say Instagram's the most linear, where it was just like, a couple bursts there, but a much more steady climb. And TikTok was definitely, big bursts.
Now you're still on TikTok?
Yep.
Okay. And so you're
not canceled yet.
Your Instagram is 388K. Yep. X is 66K. And your TikTok is, Where are you at now? Damn, 1.5 million, bro. Those are crazy numbers. Have you even tried to tour at all on these numbers? Like, comedy wise?
I toured. I did a bunch of comedy festivals in the U.S. last year, and toured Canada as well. That's been. I mean, I've had a good time doing that. It's lucrative. But again, it's kind of like
translated to ticket sales at all. Have you noticed?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I sell out whenever I do shows here in Canada or in Toronto. I sell out as a headliner. The comedy festivals are a bit different. You don't have to really sell the tickets; they provide the audiences.
Right.
But I did really well at the Burbank Comedy Festival. I did Omaha Comedy Festival. I've done a few, U.S. cities, and the thing is that the U.S. customs makes it really hard for a Canadian. So I have to negotiate $0 contracts for myself, and I have to go over on my own dime, and which I was happy to do, but I had to show customs, hey, here's my contract that says I get no money, and they're like, great, welcome to America. But if I got paid $1, they'd be like, oh, you're taking our jobs, So now I got to get a visa. That's going to cost me, tens of thousands again. So I'm a business first. So for me, this is a business. Yeah. I want to treat this like an entrepreneur would approach any company. I'm a CEO of a one-man publishing, empire. And I want to be careful where I put my cash. And so, getting a visa so that I can quote unquote work in the US doesn't necessarily make sense unless it's a deal like Netflix, Adult Swim, something where I can say, okay, here's something big that makes sense, and I can just engage a bunch of lawyers and make it happen.
Yeah, unless you're going to do like a tour. And I'm not saying like what comics do where they, whatever dates they book. Like if you go to a lot of comics websites, I think I even stopped doing it on mine. Most comics, they just go to their website and put tour dates, and it's whatever they book, they just put it under tour dates, and that's not a tour. It's, a tour is when Kevin Hart goes, all right, I'm going to 70 cities in 30 weeks, or I don't even know how that's possible, but whatever. That's a tour. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, maybe
you can pull that off with Epstein's jet. Absolutely.
That's true. That seems to be, I guess, maybe worth it, but dude, that makes a ton of sense. I feel like you're like right there. And dude, what came first? Was it stand up or was it the books?
Stand up. Stand up came first. I took a stand up comedy class at Second City in 2012, and I had written a business book that had some humor in it. And it became a bestseller in 2012, and before I was a comedian, and I started getting asked to speak at conferences around the world, and I wanted to be a little bit funnier and a little bit better speaker, so I took a Second City stand-up comedy class here in Toronto, and the minute I did my first 5-minute set, Barry, it changed my life. I was just like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do for a living. And I was married at the time. And, I don't tell this story often, but I have a friendly relationship with my ex-wife, so I don't want to paint her in a bad light. But I asked her directly, how would you feel about me becoming a stand-up comic for a living? And she was like, I would not support that at all. And I blew up my life. I was like, okay, and got a divorce, sold my house, made a bunch of changes, sold my businesses, and it took me a little while, but then I decided to become a stand-up comic.
So your businesses were doing well? They were thriving?
Yeah, I like nice things, Barry. Okay. I like to do well. I like to have money. Okay. I like 5-star hotels and first-class travel. Yeah. So I've always kind of been good at the things that I do, and that's because I choose the things that I think are going to be easy for me. Okay. And they may not be the things for everybody else, but they work for me. And I also am the kind of person where if I see $1 in something, I can see $1 million in that thing. And so when I get the taste of a little tiny bit of success, I go balls deep into it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense. So comedy came first. You ditched the ex-wife. You go balls deep into comedy. And then the idea for the books comes. And did that come from originally like writing a joke about it? And then you're like, oh, this would be a great children's book. Ha ha ha. Then you're like, you know what? I'll make this a book.
Yeah, you nailed it. So the first book was Why Daddy Hits Mommy, a kid's guide to understanding alcoholism.
It's so goddamn funny though, bro. Because it's just like...
It's so crass, I know.
No, it's so funny because it's just like... It's not on the nose, but it is. But it's just... It's hilarious.
It's not on the nose, but it's on the face. That's for sure.
Oh, watch out! That's so fucking. Go ahead. I'm sorry. So I interrupted.
But, you know, that's where it started. I was doing TikTok and I was making jokes. Some of them were hitting, some of them weren't. I was at like a few thousand followers, not a big account at any stretch. And I made this cover of this book that didn't exist. And I went on TikTok and I said, my name is Brad Gosse and I write books for children, but my publisher keeps rejecting my submissions. Tell me why you think they didn't like this one. And then boom, here's the cover of Why Daddy Hits Mommy. And that video got 1.5 million views and like tripled my follower count in 24 hours. And I read the comments. This is market research now, right? So I'm reading the comments and all the comments are the same. Read the book to us. Why can't we see the book? Where's the book? Show us the pages. And I was like, there are no pages. I didn't write it. It's just a title.
Like, this is just a bit.
And I was like, wait a second. There's more, there's more to the bit, right? And every page is now a tag. So I'm like, okay. So then I sat down and I wrote the book in Dr. Seuss style. You know, when dad comes home, he wants to thinks, a whiskey drink and spotless sinks, and like, and then I held up the false cover. I printed it out, held it up, and I didn't illustrate the pages. I just read the book, and I was like, "Here's the words to the book," and that video got 1 million+ views. And then they were like, "Why can't we see the pages?" And that's when the light went off. I was like, "Okay, wait a second, I can do this." So the very next iteration was, "Okay, here's the book, and by the way, it's available on Amazon." And it started to sell immediately. Not huge numbers, not, Mike Hunt numbers, but it did well enough where it showed me that $1. And then I was like, okay, I can go down this road and, maybe there's at the time, dude, I'm thinking 10, 20 books, and that'll be the end of the bit. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and better and better. And people wanted stickers and merch, and they wanted all this stuff and autographed copies and all this stuff, and then people were buying the books and reading them to their own followers and tagging me. I'm like, I got something here. And go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, please continue.
Mike Hunt was actually number 117, I think. And so I had been sort of slowly chugging along with these books, and I gained 1 million. I had 1 million followers. I had all this, the books were doing really well. And then Mike Hunt sold, thousands of copies a day right out of the gate, day one. Like the minute it got published, it was like, boom, started selling. Like I read it on TikTok. Women were duetting the book. It just blew up so fast. And what's funny is that, because that book did so well, now all of a sudden they were like, wait a minute, this guy has 100 other books. So all the other books started to sell way better because Mike Hunt was so successful. And in the backs of the books, I have ads for other books because it's like a comic book. So in the back, you get ads for the other books. And sometimes I get bad reviews because they get pissed off at one of the other book ads they don't like or whatever, but it didn't matter. It just blew up all the other book sales. And so, when you're doing something, it's the same with YouTube. It's the same with, doing videos or stand-up comedy or whatever. When something blows up, your back catalog blows up with it. And it's like, oh, this guy was always here. How did we not know about this guy? And so it just, everything took off after that. It was a successful climb to a point, and then everything sort of blew up after that.
That's fantastic, dude. What a great story. Like and somebody said this in the chat. What's up, McLovin? Good to see you, buddy. Long time no see. McLovin in the chat said that ex-wife bailed on a great situation. What an idiot. Well, I think Brad bailed on her.
Yeah, I did. I did. But to be fair, I don't think she wouldn't have been up for the ride. She was not, she didn't like she didn't like me getting that attention, and, it was a different life. And so I think, we weren't a good fit. So, it wasn't going to work out whether or not I wanted to be a comedian.
Yeah, I get that. You know what I mean? Like if because my poor wife, bless her heart, when we met, I wasn't a stand-up comic. We started dating in '98. I've only been doing this 11 years. I was working at Fortune 50 companies as a project manager, and now here my stupid ass is working from home like you. You know what I mean? I do this all day and stand-up comedy at night, and she's like, this is not what the fuck I signed up for. You had way more money and were way more respected than this bullshit. So yeah, I get that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so far she's been super supportive. Well, what do you, besides the trying to get these characters and trying to get this stuff on TV or some sort of deal, which I would love to see. I think it would be really, really successful in some way. What are some other goals for you? I mean, obviously a Netflix special we talked about, but is beyond that, is that kind of is that the two major goals for you? Is there anything else?
They would be the biggest goals. I think there's also, room for, I'm considering, I'm building a podcast studio right now in my house. So that's something, where like I have some pretty big comics that follow me, like Bert Kreischer follows me. And, I have some decent comics that follow me. And so I want to be able to have, when they come to Toronto, have a place for them to come and do a podcast with me. So that's also on the table. Yeah. That's not so much a wish as it is a plan. I think just having a much bigger audience on social media, which is an easy climb for me. It's something crazy, I'm already doing. It's
crazy to hear you say that, as big as your audience is. And I think that's really telling for somebody like me, and just in general for anybody that's maybe listening or watching this later or even now that is chasing that social media climb, because I think no matter where you're at, you're always thinking about that next level. Because I'm sure at some point before you did the first book and it took off, you were like, man, if I could just get to 10,000, or if I could just get to, because that's where I'm at. Like none of my shit, I think I'm on X, I have like 10,000, but like, bro, on YouTube, all my numbers are trash. Everywhere else, I have no good numbers anywhere other than Twitter. And so I'm like, well, if I could just get to 10K, I mean, ultimately my goal is like 100K. I think I might be able to tour and just scratch out a living as a comic. And then I think what you realize is as you get to 10K and 100K, you're like, now I want 300K. Now I want 1 million.
Of course.
Now
you're always moving the bar. Always move the goalposts. Yeah. Absolutely. You can never stop and be happy with, and I shouldn't say never, but I do have moments where I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a month off. I'm going to take a break. I just turned 50 last year. So, I'm like, okay, I took a little time off in December and went to the Cayman Islands. And, like I do definitely stop and smell the flowers once in a while, but then I quickly get back to it because I know that if you're not growing, you're shrinking. And, that's how social media works. Like if you take a break from YouTube, you come back, you have less followers. Dude. You take a break from any platform, you have less followers. And so to me, this is a job. And why would I treat it any different than, a single mom who has to work, 2 different jobs to make ends meet? I'm going to spend that same amount of effort or more to chase my dreams. This is what I want to do. Like I've never been happier, Barry. This is exactly what I want to do. I'm living the dream that I want to be living. I'm doing it exactly on my own terms. I don't do things I don't want to do. And that I don't want that to change. So I want to make sure that I work my ass off, because I can definitely catch myself saying later, you could have done this, you could have worked harder, you could have, and I don't want to have that conversation with myself because that's depressing.
That's so great, dude. How much How much time do you think you spend just editing videos, working on videos, making videos? Because that's a big part of all of this, right? Like, because you've got to record them, or you've got to make the books, but all of this is predicated on a social media platform of some sort, whether it's YouTube or X or Instagram, but it's all pretty much, I mean, I guess the books in a way you could get those out via Instagram, photos or carousels or whatever. But at the end of the day, even reading them is still a video, right? How much time do you think you spend in a day or a week just editing videos?
It's probably about 30 to 40% of my time that I spend working is on video. I have it streamlined.
Oh, do you?
I have a really, I'm a very, like I'm a coder, so I know how to like script things. I know how to speed up workflows. Mm-hmm. I'm very productive. You come from a project management background. I come from a tech background. Yeah. So I have a really keen understanding of how to do things quickly and how to create templates and processes to make things go exactly the way I want them to go. Yep. I have shortcuts. I have, all the stuff in place, Oh
yeah. Yeah. That sounds so familiar because I come from an IT background, which is how I ended up in project management. Yeah. Right. That's the one beautiful thing about it. Yeah, you kind of learn, like I use DaVinci Resolve now. I started on Premiere, went to Final Cut, but now I'm in DaVinci, and it's like, oh, you can script some of this, you could do some. Oh, cool, okay, yeah. And that's
one of my favorite apps is called Time Bolt. Have you ever heard of it?
Nope, but I'm writing this shit down. I'll tell you what, you get a fellow nerd starts dropping shit, you're writing it down.
It's called Time Bolt, and what I love about Time Bolt is I can put a 3-hour video into Time Bolt, and it will cut out all the silence and jump cut everything for me and basically do all my edits. Yeah, dude. Life changing right here.
I started using Opus Clips.
Opus Clips I use Opus Clip as well.
Yeah, but I Time Bolt
I Time Bolt first.
Time Bolt first and then Opus Clips.
Yeah.
Done.
Because Time Bolt will remove all your silence, and that will cut down on the amount of minutes you spend on Opus Clip. So it'll cut down on your usage minutes. But it also, what happens is I can take a 3-hour video, like you could take this podcast, put it into Opus Clip, and it will cut out any silences. Not that we've had a lot of silence, but it will cut out any gaps. And it also creates a lot of logical edit points. So you can just put it in, like I can take that XML file that it gives you and put it into Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve. And then I can go in, all my edits are kind of there, and I can just go, oh, select this. Oh, there's a clip, copy that, paste it out. And so it's very good at finding the start stop places.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay. So Time Bolt first.
Yeah.
And then, okay. Yeah, because you're right. That is where I spend a lot of time, is just because I learned early on, you edit the waveform. You don't edit the video. You edit from the waveform, right? And it's just through cutting out gaps. Well, shit, Brad, this made it all worth it. Just that little nugget at the end, buddy. Well, Brad, this was great. All
I had to do was lie to you about a Netflix special, and here we are.
To make this happen in this way. Well, look, show me your TDs just popped up in the chat. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. He goes, loving the, or he said, wow, I'm glad I tuned in. My favorite author is being interviewed. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. So appreciate you being here. Show me your TDs. Thanks for going. Jared Taylor, thank you for the gifted sub, man. Much appreciated. Brad, this was great, man. Thank you for popping in and spending some time with me. Best of luck to you on the book tour thing. What is it called again? The
Bukkake.
The Bukkake. That's not what it's called, but
That's what it's called?
No, it was something else you called it.
The compendium.
The
title is Bukkake.
Yeah, but I don't want to say that.
I love saying that.
Okay. Brad, how can the people find you one more time?
Just Brad Gosse, Gosse on all the things, or Google it. I got locked down on my name. There's other Brad Gosses. Sorry.
Well, yeah, that sucks for them.
Yeah.
Alec, I appreciate you. Everybody's like, this was awesome. Great interview. Interview. Dude, thanks for doing this, man. Lots of fun.
You,
I appreciate you doing the first follow, man. I'm glad that that you followed and I followed back, because I really enjoy consuming you. and your stuff.
Amazing.
So it's fantastic. And thanks for the tip, dude. This was great. I appreciate you taking the time to spend some time with me on the show, man. Best of luck to you.
Barry.
All right, y'all, that is Brad Gosse. Everybody go check him out and buy a book for the kiddos. Do that as well. All right. And that is another edition of Barry on Deck.